Before you spend another nickel, stop for just 20 seconds, because one tiny Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel hiding in an old coin jar or even your pocket change could be worth thousands, or in extremely rare cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. The difference between an ordinary 5-cent coin and a life-changing treasure often comes down to a rare mint error, a key date, or an exceptional condition that most people never notice. What if the next nickel you spend on a cup of coffee is actually worth more than a luxury mansion? It sounds impossible, but stories like this have turned ordinary pocket change into life-changing discoveries. Every year, collectors search through millions of coins, hoping to uncover one hidden treasure that everyone else overlooked. While most people see only 5 cents, experienced numismatists see tiny details that can separate an ordinary coin from an extraordinary rarity. And today, we're talking about one of the most fascinating modern coins in American numismatics, the 1981 P. Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel. Some extraordinary examples with dramatic mint errors and exceptional preservation have generated enormous excitement among collectors, with speculative estimates sometimes reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why you should never assume every nickel in your pocket is worth only face value. Here's the difference between a spender and a collector. The spender empties their pockets at the end of the day without giving those coins a second glance. The collector pauses for just a few seconds, studies the date, the mint mark, the strike, and every tiny detail. That simple habit has led to incredible discoveries over the years. Somewhere in America, an overlooked coin could still be sitting inside a forgotten piggy bank, an old coffee can, or a dusty jar tucked away in the back of a closet. Could your 1981 P. Jefferson nickel be one of those forgotten treasures? Before we dive deeper, here's something you should do right now. Pause this video for just a moment and grab any jar, drawer, or cup where you keep loose change. If you find a 1981 P. Jefferson nickel, don't spend it. Set it aside. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what separates an ordinary 5-cent coin from one that collectors dream about finding. The Jefferson nickel has been a familiar part of American life since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and has remained one of the most recognizable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. The obverse proudly features Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse displays his famous Virginia home, Monticello. Millions of these coins entered circulation every year, becoming so common that most Americans never considered them collectible. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels in 1981, and unlike many earlier Philadelphia coins, these carried the P Mint mark. Because so many were struck, most people assume every 1981 P nickel is common. That assumption is exactly why remarkable examples can remain hidden for decades. Rarity isn't always about low production numbers. Sometimes, rarity is created by unusual minting mistakes, exceptional preservation, or combinations of characteristics that almost never survive together. Now here's where the story becomes truly fascinating. During the minting process, thousands of tons of pressure force the coin design into a blank metal planchet. Even the smallest disruption in that process can produce an error that transforms an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Collectors spend years studying these mistakes because genuine mint errors cannot simply be recreated after the coin leaves the mint. One of the most sought-after possibilities is a dramatic off-center strike. Imagine the dies failing to align correctly as the coin is struck. Instead of producing a perfectly centered design, part of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello appears shifted toward the edge, leaving a blank crescent of metal. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the date and mint mark, the more attention it typically receives from serious collectors. Another highly desirable error is a broad strike. This occurs when the retaining collar fails to hold the planchet properly during striking. Without that collar, the metal spreads outward under tremendous pressure, creating a coin that's noticeably wider than normal while lacking its traditional raised rim. Genuine broad strikes are immediately recognizable to trained collectors. Attention reset. Take another quick look at your change. Most people never notice the edge of a nickel, yet sometimes the edge tells the entire story. A single missing collar during production can make all the difference between 5 cents and a highly collectible mint error. Perhaps even more intriguing are double die varieties. During die production, Even a tiny misalignment can leave portions of the design appearing doubled. Collectors carefully inspect Jefferson's lettering, the date, the mint mark, and the inscriptions for strong evidence of doubling. True double dies are created before the coin is struck, making them completely different from ordinary machine doubling or damage caused after circulation. Another fascinating possibility involves die cracks and retained cuts. As dies wear under incredible pressure, microscopic fractures may develop. Those cracks eventually transfer raised lines onto every coin struck afterward. In more dramatic situations, pieces of the die itself may break away, leaving large raised blobs of metal known as cuds. Every stage of die deterioration tells part of the coin's manufacturing history. Then there are clipped planchets, one of the easiest mint errors for beginners to recognize. Before striking, blank metal discs are punched from long strips of metal. Occasionally, the punch overlaps a previously cut hole, leaving a curved section missing from the finished blank. When struck, the result is a Jefferson nickel with a distinctive curved clip that immediately attracts collector interest. Here's a question that surprises many people. What if two coins have exactly the same error? Which one is worth more? The answer usually comes down to condition. Coin grading plays an enormous role in determining value. A heavily worn error coin may still be desirable, but one preserved in near-perfect mint state condition becomes dramatically more valuable because so few survive without scratches, wear, or environmental damage. Professional grading services carefully evaluate every surface under magnification. They look for original mint luster, strike quality, contact marks, eye appeal, and overall preservation. A difference of just one grading point can sometimes mean thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars in value for rare varieties. Attention reset. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever received change at a grocery store, tossed it into your pocket, and never looked at it again? That simple habit could allow an important coin to disappear back into circulation forever. Every collector knows that incredible discoveries often begin with nothing more than curiosity. Another factor driving excitement around the 1981 P. Jefferson nickel is population rarity. Even when millions were originally produced, only a tiny fraction survive today with spectacular mint errors combined with pristine surfaces. Many entered circulation immediately, accumulating decades of scratches, wear, and damage. Others were melted, lost, or simply spent countless times. Every year, fewer exceptional examples remain available for collectors. Modern collectors also benefit from advanced photography and online marketplaces. Years ago, unusual coins often stayed hidden in local collections. Today, remarkable discoveries spread across the numismatic community almost instantly. As awareness increases, competition among collectors can intensify, especially when a truly exceptional error reaches the auction market. Now let's address the number that captures everyone's attention. Could a 1981 P. Jefferson nickel actually be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The reality is that ordinary circulated examples are generally worth only face value or a modest premium. However, an exceptionally rare combination of a dramatic authenticated mint error, outstanding eye appeal, extreme rarity, and elite certified condition could command astonishing prices in the right auction environment. Some speculative discussions have suggested that a truly unique example might approach values as high as $610,000 if extraordinary circumstances aligned. Such outcomes are exceptionally rare and depend on authentication, grading, rarity, and competitive bidding. That's why authentication matters so much. Unfortunately, many damaged coins are mistakenly believed to be valuable mint errors. Post-mint damage, tool marks, chemical alterations, or ordinary circulation, where rarely create significant collector value. Genuine mint errors must be verified by respected grading and authentication experts before serious buyers are willing to pay premium prices. Here's another attention reset. Go check the date on your nickels right now. Not tomorrow. Not next weekend. Right now. You may not find a fortune today, but every experienced collector started by examining ordinary coins. Treasure hunting begins with one careful look. The coin market itself continues to evolve. Interest in rare American coins has expanded as more collectors enter the hobby seeking tangible historical assets. While no investment is guaranteed, exceptional numismatic rarities have repeatedly demonstrated that rarity, condition, and collector demand can create remarkable auction results. The key is knowledge. The more you understand minting history and era varieties, the better your chances of recognizing something special before someone else does. Imagine opening an old family coin album inherited from your grandparents. Between ordinary pennies and quarters sits a single Jefferson nickel that nobody ever examined closely. To everyone else, it's just another 5-cent coin. But to an experienced collector, the unusual strike, sharp details, and remarkable preservation immediately signal that something extraordinary may have been hiding in plain sight for decades. That's exactly why stories like these continue inspiring collectors across America. The thrill of coin collecting isn't simply about money. It's about history you can hold in your hand. Every coin has traveled through countless lives, businesses, cities, and generations. Some quietly carried a secret from the day they were struck at the mint, waiting decades before someone finally noticed what made them different. If you discover a suspicious-looking 1981 P. Jefferson nickel, resist the temptation to clean it. Cleaning almost always reduces collector value because it permanently alters the original surface. Instead, handle the coin carefully by its edges, store it in a protective holder, and consider having it examined by a reputable professional grading service if you believe it displays a genuine mint error or exceptional quality. As we reach the end of today's journey, remember the lesson that separates successful collectors from everyone else. Valuable discoveries rarely happen because of luck alone. They happen because someone decided to pay attention when everyone else looked away. The next handful of pocket change you receive could contain nothing unusual, or it could contain a remarkable piece of American minting history waiting to be recognized. So before you spend another nickel, take one more careful look. Check the date. Find the mint mark. Examine the lettering. Study the edges. Search for doubling, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, or other unusual characteristics. That simple habit could become the beginning of an unforgettable discovery. And if today's story amazed you, don't miss what's coming next. In our next video, we'll uncover another ultra-rare American coin that many people have unknowingly carried in their pockets for years. A coin with an incredible history, astonishing mint errors, and a value that has shocked even experienced collectors. You won't want to miss it. Imagine reaching into your pocket for a 5-cent coin, tossing it onto a counter without a second thought, only to discover later that it could have been worth as much as $620,000. It sounds impossible, but stories like this have fueled the passion of coin collectors across America for decades. Every year, millions of Jefferson nickels pass unnoticed through cash registers, vending machines, and piggy banks. Most are worth exactly 5 cents. But a tiny handful possess characteristics so unusual that collectors spend years searching for them. Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious modern nickels ever discussed, the 1987 P. Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel and the extraordinary errors that have turned a few examples into legendary treasures. Before you spend another nickel, ask yourself one question. What if the rarest coin you've ever owned is sitting unnoticed in your change jar right now? Most people see pocket change as something to spend. Collectors see it as history, opportunity, and sometimes life-changing wealth. That's the difference between a spender and a collector. One person buys a cup of coffee. The other examines every coin before letting it leave their hands. That single habit has led to incredible discoveries worth thousands, and occasionally hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1987 P. Jefferson nickel represents exactly the kind of coin that reminds us why checking every piece of change still matters. The Jefferson nickel has been part of American life since 1938, replacing the famous Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features President Thomas Jefferson on the front and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. By 1987, the Philadelphia Mint was producing hundreds of millions of these coins. Because of such enormous production numbers, almost everyone assumes the 1987 P nickel is common. In ordinary condition, that's absolutely true. But numismatics has never been about ordinary coins. It's about extraordinary exceptions. Here's where things become fascinating. While millions of standard 1987p nickels entered circulation, a microscopic number escaped the mint with dramatic production mistakes that transformed them into collector favorites. These error coins are so elusive that many collectors spend decades without ever seeing one in person. That's why experienced numismatists often call them ghost coins. They exist, but they appear so rarely that many people begin to wonder if they'll ever find one. Now here's an important question. Have you checked the date on your Jefferson nickels recently? If not, you might want to pause this video after we're done and inspect every 1987p nickel you own. It takes only a few minutes, and that simple habit could uncover something extraordinary. Let's explore what makes certain 1987p nickels so valuable. One of the most desirable errors is the dramatic off-center strike. During the minting process, the coin blank may fail to align correctly beneath the dies. Instead of producing a perfectly centered design, part of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello appears shifted toward the edge, leaving a blank crescent-shaped area. Minor off-center strikes are collectible, but dramatic examples showing the full date and mint mark while missing a significant portion of the design can command astonishing premiums. Another highly sought-after error involves the double die phenomenon. This isn't damage caused after the coin leaves the mint. Instead, it occurs during the die creation process itself. Certain design elements may appear doubled under magnification, especially around the lettering, Jefferson's profile, or inscriptions. Strong doubled features are exceptionally scarce on modern nickels, making authenticated examples especially desirable among advanced collectors. Attention for just a second. What if the nickel sitting inside your kitchen drawer has tiny doubling you've never noticed because you've never looked under a magnifying glass? That's exactly how hidden treasures remain hidden. Next comes one of the most visually dramatic mistakes, the broad strike error. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the coin during striking, giving it its proper diameter and raised rim. When the collar fails to engage, the coin expands outward during striking, creating a wider coin with little or no raised edge. These broad-struck nickels have a completely different appearance and immediately stand out to experienced collectors. Then there's the fascinating clipped planchet error. Before striking, coin blanks are punched from large metal sheets. Occasionally, one blank overlaps the edge of another punch, leaving a curved section missing. The result is a genuine mint error featuring a distinctive crescent-shaped clip. Authentic clipped planchet nickels are eagerly pursued because each one tells the story of a mechanical mistake deep inside the mint's production process. Another error capable of generating enormous excitement is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine a Jefferson nickel accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. The resulting coin may have the wrong weight, unusual color, or incorrect diameter. These spectacular minting mistakes are among the rarest modern errors and often become centerpiece items in elite collections. Now here's something many people overlook. Even a perfectly struck 1987p nickel can become remarkably valuable if it survives in extraordinary condition. Coins graded at the very highest mint state levels by respected grading services are incredibly difficult to find because most entered circulation immediately. Every small scratch, bag mark, or fingerprint reduces a coin's grade. That's why pristine examples preserved for decades can command surprising prices compared with ordinary circulated pieces. But let's separate fact from speculation. You may have heard headlines claiming certain 1987p nickels are worth $620,000. Is that possible? Under extremely unusual circumstances involving a one-of-a-kind combination of spectacular mint errors, exceptional preservation, verified authenticity, and extraordinary collector demand, headline-grabbing values can circulate in discussions about elite numismatic treasures. However, most 1987p nickels are worth only face value, while many error examples sell for amounts ranging from modest premiums to several $1,000s depending on rarity, condition, and certification. The highest values are reserved for truly exceptional coins that stand apart from every ordinary example. Here's another thought. If you discovered a strange-looking nickel today, would you spend it? Or would you have it professionally examined? That decision alone could mean the difference between 5 cents and a remarkable payday. Authentication is absolutely essential. The coin market rewards certainty. Professional grading services carefully examine weight, dimensions, metal composition, strike quality, and authenticity before assigning an official grade. Without expert verification, even genuine-looking errors may struggle to attract serious buyers. Experienced collectors understand that documentation builds confidence, and confidence drives prices. The growing popularity of coin collecting has only intensified competition for elite modern errors. More collectors than ever are searching bankrolls, estate sales, inherited collections, and forgotten coin jars. Social media, online auctions, and educational videos have introduced millions of Americans to the possibility that hidden treasures still exist in everyday circulation. While the odds of discovering a six-figure rarity remain extremely small, the excitement of the hunt continues to inspire collectors nationwide. Let's have a little fun. Somewhere tonight, someone is using a Jefferson nickel to buy a snack without even glancing at the date. Meanwhile, another collector is sitting at a kitchen table with a magnifying glass, examining every coin one by one. Which person do you think has a better chance of finding the next great rarity? History has shown that remarkable discoveries often happen when least expected. Rare coins have been uncovered inside inherited collections, forgotten coffee cans, old dresser drawers, garage sale purchases, and even rolls obtained directly from local banks. Every discovery reinforces the same lesson. You can't find what you never bother to inspect. As demand continues growing, exceptional Jefferson nickel errors remain among the most exciting areas of modern American numismatics. Advanced collectors appreciate their rarity, fascinating production stories, and the challenge of locating authenticated examples. The combination of historical significance, minting anomalies, and limited availability creates a powerful recipe for long-term collector interest. If you own rolls of Jefferson nickels, inherited a family collection, or simply have loose change sitting around your home, now is the perfect time to take a closer look. Search carefully for the 1987 date and the Philadelphia P mint mark. Examine the edges. Look for unusual shapes, doubled lettering, dramatic off-center strikes, missing rims, clipped planchets, or anything that seems different from an ordinary nickel. Even if you don't discover a legendary rarity, you'll develop the skills that every successful coin collector relies upon. The greatest treasures often hide in the places people ignore. That's what makes coin collecting so rewarding. Every handful of change carries possibility. Every forgotten jar holds unanswered questions. Every Jefferson nickel deserves at least one careful look before it's spent forever. Remember, the true value of a rare coin isn't determined by rumors or social media headlines. It's determined by authenticity, rarity, condition, collector demand, and the willingness of buyers to compete for ownership. Those factors together have transformed a tiny number of extraordinary coins into legends worth astonishing amounts. So before you empty your pockets tonight, pause for a moment. Spread those nickels across a table. Look closely. The coin everyone else ignores might become the discovery you'll remember for the rest of your life. And if you think the 1987 P Jefferson nickel is impressive, wait until you see the next coin we'll uncover. In our next episode, we'll reveal another ultra-rare American coin with an incredible history, astonishing mint errors, and a value that has left even seasoned collectors speechless. You won't want to miss that one. Have you ever tossed a Jefferson nickel into a vending machine without giving it a second thought? What if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1999 D Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel could be worth far more than its 5-cent face value? Imagine spending a coin today that a serious collector would gladly pay thousands, or in an extraordinary, one-of-a-kind case, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, to own. Most people never look twice at their pocket change. Collectors do. That single habit has changed lives, uncovered hidden treasures, and turned forgotten coin jars into unexpected financial windfalls. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating modern Jefferson nickels in American numismatics, the 1999 D Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel, and the rare errors that have collectors searching every roll they can find. Before you spend another nickel, stay with me, because the coin sitting unnoticed in your change could be far more valuable than you ever imagined. The Jefferson nickel has been a familiar part of American life since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, The coin features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. Millions of Americans handle these coins every day, making them seem ordinary. Yet history has repeatedly shown that even common-looking coins can hide extraordinary rarities. While billions of Jefferson nickels have been produced, only a tiny number possess the combination of minting errors, exceptional preservation, and unique characteristics that transform them into legendary collector pieces. The 1999 D. Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint during a year of heavy production. Hundreds of millions entered circulation, meaning most examples are worth exactly 5 cents. That simple fact causes many people to overlook them entirely. But experienced collectors understand an important truth. The value of a coin is not determined only by its date or mint mark. It is determined by rarity, condition, and, most importantly, unusual minting mistakes that escaped quality control. Those rare survivors are the coins that create excitement whenever they appear at auction. Before we continue, here's something you should do right now. Pause for a moment after this video and grab the nearest jar of loose change. Check every 1999 D. Jefferson nickel carefully. It takes only one extraordinary discovery to completely change the story of your collection. Most valuable coins are found because someone decided to look while everyone else ignored them. Now let's examine what makes certain 1999 D. Jefferson nickels so desirable. One of the most talked about possibilities is a dramatic off-center strike. During the minting process, if the coin blank is not properly aligned between the dies, part of the design may be missing. The farther the strike is off-center while still showing the full date and mint mark, the more desirable the coin often becomes. Collectors appreciate these dramatic mistakes because every off-center strike is visually unique, making each example a one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. Another important error involves the broad strike. This happens when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin in place during striking. Without the collar, the metal spreads beyond its normal diameter, creating a wider coin with distorted edges. Although broad strikes exist across many denominations, well-preserved Jefferson nickels displaying this error remain highly collectible and command strong premiums depending on the severity and overall eye appeal. Then there are die cracks and retained die breaks. As production continues, tremendous pressure gradually weakens the dies that stamp the coins. Eventually, tiny fractures can develop. Those cracks transfer raised lines onto the finished coin. In more dramatic cases, pieces of the die begin breaking apart, creating unusual raised blobs or missing design elements. Some collectors actively search for these varieties because they represent different stages in the life of a working mint die. One of the most exciting discoveries is a doubled die. Unlike machine doubling, which generally adds little value, a genuine doubled die originates during the die creation process itself. This causes portions of the design to appear doubled, particularly around lettering, numbers, or Jefferson's profile. True double dies are carefully authenticated because they are created before a single coin is struck, making every coin produced from that die share the same distinctive characteristics. Another fascinating possibility involves die clashes. Occasionally, the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them. This transfers faint design elements from one die onto the opposite die. Future coins struck by those dies may display mysterious outlines or unexpected design fragments where they do not belong. To the average person, these marks may appear insignificant. To an experienced numismatist, they represent evidence of an unusual event inside the United States Mint. Here's another quick challenge. Think about how many nickels you've handled over the past year. Hundreds? Maybe thousands? Now imagine if just one of them carried an authentic mint error that everyone else overlooked. That's exactly why dedicated collectors inspect every coin individually instead of assuming modern pocket change has no hidden value. Condition also plays a massive role in determining value. A heavily worn 1999 D. Jefferson nickel with no unusual features is unlikely to command much interest. However, a pristine mint state example displaying brilliant original luster, razor-sharp details, and virtually flawless surfaces becomes significantly more desirable. Professional grading services carefully evaluate every tiny mark, assigning numerical grades that can dramatically influence market prices. Even a single grade point difference at the highest levels can separate an ordinary collectible from an elite registry quality coin. Collectors pay especially close attention to full steps examples. On the reverse, the staircase leading to Monticello contains several horizontal lines. If those steps remain fully visible without interruptions, the coin may qualify for the coveted full steps designation. Because complete strikes are relatively difficult to achieve, top-grade full steps examples often command impressive premiums. Strong strikes, combined with immaculate preservation, create the type of coin advanced collectors compete to acquire. Now comes the question everyone asks. Can a 1999 D Jefferson nickel really be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The honest answer requires an important distinction. Most 1999 D nickels are worth face value or modest collector premiums. However, an extraordinarily rare combination of an authenticated major mint error, exceptional mint state preservation, elite grading, remarkable eye appeal, and unique collector demand could result in an astonishing auction outcome. Headlines mentioning values approaching $729,000 generally represent extraordinary, one-of-a-kind scenarios involving exceptional rarity rather than typical circulation coins. That is exactly why authentication is absolutely essential before assuming any coin has reached such a level. The coin market has evolved dramatically over the past decade. More collectors are entering the hobby. Online auctions connect buyers worldwide, and registry competitions encourage collectors to pursue the finest known examples. As demand rises for elite condition modern coins and spectacular mint errors, exceptional pieces continue attracting intense bidding whenever they appear. Serious collectors understand that opportunities to purchase truly unique coins are extremely limited. Imagine opening an old family coin album that hasn't been touched in 20 years. Inside sits a bright 1999 D Jefferson nickel that nobody considered special. After careful examination, you notice unusual doubling, flawless surfaces, and perfectly defined full steps. Professional authentication confirms a remarkable combination of desirable characteristics. Suddenly, what seemed like an ordinary 5-cent coin becomes the centerpiece of an advanced collection. Stories like this may sound unbelievable, yet discoveries continue reminding collectors that hidden treasures still exist. Here's another attention reset. Before you spend your next handful of change, ask yourself one simple question. Would you recognize a valuable error if it was staring back at you? Most people wouldn't. That's exactly why knowledge is one of the greatest investments any collector can make. If you believe you found something unusual, resist the temptation to clean the coin. Cleaning can permanently damage original surfaces and dramatically reduce collector value. Instead, store the coin safely, handle it only by the edges, and consider having it evaluated by a respected professional grading service. Authenticity, preservation, and expert certification are the foundation of the rare coin marketplace. The excitement surrounding modern Jefferson nickels continues growing because collectors know remarkable discoveries are still possible. Unlike ancient treasures buried underground, these coins can appear in pocket change, bankrolls, estate collections, inherited jars, or forgotten drawers. Every search carries the possibility, however small, of uncovering something extraordinary. The greatest lesson from the 1999 D Jefferson nickel is not simply about money. It is about paying attention where everyone else looks away. History repeatedly rewards those who develop the patience to observe details others ignore. A simple nickel reminds us that extraordinary value often hides beneath an ordinary appearance. As the rare coin market continues evolving, exceptional error coins and elite condition examples remain among the most exciting areas of modern numismatics. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone just beginning to examine pocket change, every coin tells a story. Some stories end at 5 cents. Others become unforgettable chapters in auction history. So the next time someone hands you change at the grocery store, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look. Examine the date. Find the Denver Mint mark. Study the lettering, Jefferson's portrait, the steps of Monticello, and every unusual detail. The few seconds you spend inspecting that coin could become the most valuable habit you ever develop. If you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of the 1999 D Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel, Make sure you stay with us because our next episode explores another ultra-rare American coin that many people unknowingly spend every single day. A hidden treasure with astonishing mint errors that could leave even seasoned collectors speechless. You won't want to miss what comes next.